Hello, everyone. My name is Gus.
Hi, I'm Woody.
And today we're reacting to dive number 1 from our trip to Abaco.
Yes.
From a couple weeks ago. We have a ton of content.
I just kept the parallels on.
So much content. For this dive alone, we had over an hour and a half of underwater video. And, of course, a lot of it is very repetitive. It's all swimming and stuff. So I was able to cut it down to about 30 minutes. However, I'm thinking that for the members who really message us and they're like, we want longer videos, we probably are going to release the whole hour and a half.
But would you admit that I was the photographer, just because I had the parallels on my mask. And this is not a cave system where you can hold a camera. Brian doesn't want you to.
No.
It's so remarkable, these caves, even right from the beginning of the cave's entrance, right? That it's hard not to film.
Yeah.
So that's why, everybody, and I'm glad you edited it because you don't know when to stop. But even that's what to me is amazing. I've been talking to you about these caves now for a few years.
Yeah.
One of the reasons you got Sidewinder certified, not just, but one of the reasons was you had a goal to get in these crystal caves of the Bahamas. Yeah. So before you start the video, did I oversell them?
No, I mean, I think it's impossible to describe it. And I also think it's impossible to get it on video. I edited this video that we're reacting to today, and I'm just looking around and I'm like, I mean, this in person is just 100 times better, just more beautiful. And on video, it looks impressive, but in person, it's 100 times more impressive.
100%.
It's impossible. Like, you cannot show, even in ancient caves, where Jonathan Bird uses like an amazing camera and lighting and all of that. It looks amazing, but nothing like to see it in person.
Totally agree.
Unbelievable. So yeah, I was really happy about that. So anyway, we shot a little bit of video above, like on the surface, and then a lot of video underwater. So I edited this one with a little bit of both, but mostly underwater.
Okay.
Lower the volume a little bit.
Kind of wanted to pause, but I won't. On the drive there, you could see all the trees were blown down. That's all I want to say. That was from Hurricane Dorian about almost 3 years ago. It was almost a Category 6.
Yeah.
Wiped out all of Marsh Harbor. That's why all those trees were blown down. Wasn't like that when I first went there. So Brian here, he puts up a tent for sun cover, and he built this deck right near Dan's cave. And wow, so cool, Gus. You had filmed all this.
Yeah, we hooked up the camera into a tree and kind of recorded this whole thing.
So after we get all our gear, hopefully you'll see that Brian does extremely comprehensive briefings.
Well, so the briefing, it's important to cover this. They are very comprehensive. As a matter of fact, our briefing for dive 1, which was probably the less complicated dive of the whole week, was 20 minutes long.
But it really helps when you're in there because listen, Brian has every inch of these caves memorized in his head. He knows when you go in and you make that left turn, this is what you're going to see on your right, and right there I'm going to tell you to be careful. Then when you go a little further, we're going to drop down. We're going to have to tie a jump, and right after the jump, like, he's guarding the cave. So his theme of the briefs, and Brian, chime in if I'm wrong, but you're doing it, one, you want to make us aware as we're going to be diving in there, but you're also doing it to help us protect the caves as well, so we know what's coming and we know what we need to do when we get in there, and I totally respect that.
I think there's an interesting dichotomy, and I want to get to the video as quick as possible because it's long. There's an interesting dichotomy about the Crystal Caves, which is I did not want to go there or even reach out to Brian Kakuk, who's like one of the best divers in the world. I didn't want to ask Brian if I could go until I felt that I had enough skills to go there and not destroy the cave. And I think, sorry, I think I felt that way after our Twin Caves dive.
Yeah.
right? We did the twin cave dives, and I was watching the video, and I'm like, I think I'm ready for Crystal Caves. But the funny thing is, and here's where the dichotomy comes in, is that when you go there, during the briefing, which Woody explained is long and very thorough, he tells you to break some of the most accepted rules about cave diving. Like, he tells you where there are sections of the cave where you're not supposed to be in perfect trim. And the reason for that is because the cave is like this way. So if you're in perfect trim with your fins, you're going to knock out stuff out of the wall. So he'll tell you, I want you to go vertical on that section and just move sideways. Or he'll tell you,
or don't use your feet.
Don't use your feet.
Hands.
Use your hands.
So don't chop us down, because if you see Gus, because I was filming him using his hands, he was told to do that.
I was trying to mimic Brian Kakuk 100%. So in some places, he'll be in perfect trim, and you'll see us swimming just in perfect trim. And then in some places, you'll see my knees will be down, because he said, like, I'm gonna grab one of these toys right here, one of these dummies. If you look at this guy, let me cover it with my hand if I can. If you look at one of these divers, you will notice that the fins are taller than, like, let's say the tank or the rebreather. The fins are taller, right? So the idea is, if you lower the knees, then your fins won't be higher than your rebreather. So he said, in some places, I want you to do this modified frog kick where your knees are lower, because I want your fins to literally be like behind your butt, like just behind it. So you will see that in some cases the kicks look weird because I'm imitating Brian, which happens to be doing that modified frog kick.
That's right.
And again, using your hands, or like, the accepted rule of don't touch anything. There are some places where Brian tells you, I want you to stop moving your feet and you're going to pull. Like, not just touch, you're going to pull. Now gentle, like using like one finger, just pull. But I want you to touch. I don't want you kicking. So
even when
that's why the briefings were long.
Remember when he was shining the light and he did the professional photos of you and I lighting up the crystal?
Yep.
He not only tells you to hold, he takes your hand and physically puts it on a big, thick little hump of crystal. Hold on to this. I want you to physically hold it.
Yep.
Because he doesn't want you moving at all, because there's stuff right in back of you. So anyway, I think we've explained that
going.
enough. Let's let it roll.
So we're just setting up and talking.
He's bringing out, you see the O2 tanks? We're always... There we go.
Okay, guys. So, the entrance is right here.
We're in that shirt today.
So
let me pause that for a second, because if you notice, there are so many pages on that binder. All of them are detailed, hand-drawn pieces of the cave. So we went through, like, if not all, most of those pages. Like, he'll go to one, then take it out, go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So imagine, I don't know how many he has there, like 8 or 10 or something. He went through all of those with us. I just didn't leave it. I just didn't leave the whole briefing, even though we're recorded.
We'll be here for an hour.
Because we'll be here forever, but I will put it up for members.
Okay.
So if you're a member, you'll get to watch this whole thing. If you're not a member, please subscribe.
But let's let it roll a little bit now so people can
we don't
get
need
going in this.
a permanent reel, because the line starts within breath hold distance of the entrance. You can, on a sunny day, you can see the arrow on the beginning of the gold line.
Roger.
So,
Good. Look at all that detail he's going.
Yeah. It was just 20 minutes long.
That's the entrance to Dan's cave. It looks like there's no big deal.
This is Woody filming. Good job. Getting
So
ready.
from here on out, there's probably nothing of me because I was wearing the Parallax. That's okay. It shows what's going on. There's Brian with his side kick. We dove side winders.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just made a helmet to copy just like his.
Copy his.
I want to copy everything.
Exactly.
Look how his computer is on the top of the helmet, and he's doing that for me on my pink helmet. Look at that thing. It just goes right down. I can't wait.
I like that he has like all his lights on the helmet, like all 3. Primary, secondary, and backup.
I just wanted to film all that he's doing. Look, he's got all these O2 tanks. Mm-hmm. He's just... That's what makes him amazing, is all that he does to get his customers into these caves.
Mm-hmm. By the way, the camera didn't capture the audio of that conversation. I wish we had.
It doesn't do a good job, the paralens, of catching audio.
All right. There he goes down with the O2 tanks, and then we go inside the cave. Here we go. So I think I left the first 10 to 15 minutes like unedited because I want people to experience kind of the first time I went into the caves.
By the way, the video light that you let me use on my right hand is so awesome. And I'm now getting an Orca Torch video light. Mm-hmm. So that makes a big wide beam. So you see how it's not burning out anything. And that's Gus ahead of me, and I'm just filming.
Yeah. So I'll be the model.
I do look down, by the way. If you see me looking down, I'm checking my PO2.
Yeah.
So what I want to comment on, Gus, you're already probably amazed. You entered the cave, and 5 minutes later, it's the most decorated cave you've ever seen.
Yeah.
But just wait till what's coming.
Mind blown.
That's all crystal. If you see those stalactites and stalagmites and halactites, it's pure crystal everywhere.
I also want people to notice the clarity of the water. It's insane. You can't even see a single particle on that thing. Look how see-through transparent it is.
And that's
amazing.
That's below the halocline layer. Yeah. So we're in salt water there. The same salinity as the ocean. You start off in fresh water, and you end up in... Wow, that video came out great, by the way. You end up in salt water. So buoyancy's tricky, right? Because you have fresh water and salt water. Yeah. So you got to wait.
I got smacked to the top.
Look at that crystal. That's pure crystal everywhere.
Yeah, when you see it in person, it's just unbelievable.
That's like 8 minutes into the dive. Oh, there's the depth and temperature. 76 Fahrenheit was the general temperature. Yep. I dove dry the whole week.
Yeah, I was wetsuit. Brian also dives wet. So, you know, if you are thinking about becoming a cave diver, I know that in the past we have shown videos like Shangri-La and, you know, people getting stuck or whatever, like when I got stuck at Jug Hole. But, you know, this is really the cave diving I enjoy. You know, when the caves are big. And I know we're going through something that looks tight, but
this
cave is massive.
Yeah, big. But just right there, look to the right. Guys, that's all crystal. Everywhere Gus is, you had to be already amazed, right, when you first saw this?
I feel like I turned around a couple of times and I was like, what? Look at this.
And every day Brian's like, just wait till I show you the good stuff. And you're like, it can't be any better. But just wait every day. Wow, and this is just dive one, Gus. So you must have, you have a lot of video. Because I filmed, that's me okaying them. They were asking me if I'm okay. So the circle for the non-cave divers or non-divers means I'm okay.
So we circle to ask if he's okay, and then he circles, same thing, to say he's okay.
Normally I would do that with my primary light, but I obviously had my video light on, so for filming. So
you can see there's stuff all over the ceiling, so you have to be careful with your kick. So you can see even my fins are too high there. Like I know that's the proper trim and whatnot for cave diving, but it's improper for this cave unless you're far away from the ceiling, which now I adjusted, but a few seconds ago I was a little too high. You can see Brian is lower, so I wasn't doing a great job there following him.
See those kicks right there you modified, those little baby frog kicks that Gus is doing? Sorry, I do that a lot.
That's beautiful.
That's me talking into the...
It's so beautiful.
I can't help it.
It's true. I was probably saying the same thing. I mean, look at that thing. It's just everywhere. Look at that huge column of crystal.
And I'm not kidding you, everybody. I think this is only a few hundred feet into the cave.
Yeah.
Like 300 to 500 feet into the cave.
Yeah, like 100 meters. And he's so quiet with the rebreathers, huh? If we were in open circuit, this thing would be like, oh!
That's a good point. By the way, bubbles can break off some of the stalactites in these caves. That's a pure crystal column.
Oh, yes. I want.
I talk a lot. I was so happy because you're finally in the Crystal Caves. Finally,
Amazing.
after all I talked about. Look at that thing. That's my screensaver on my phone. See that
The waterfall?
that column right there?
Yeah.
That's my screensaver. With me on one side and Doug Ebersol on the other. Brian lit it all up one time for us.
By the way, if you've seen the famous picture, I'll put it on the screen right here, from Wes Skiles. He went to National Geographic, won a bunch of awards. It's this exact room right here. Obviously, he did a little bit of a better job than you with the Paralens.
I'll give you, yes.
But
not bad.
I was really, really excited that we went to the same room where that picture was taken. That was cool. And this was, like you said, like 5 minutes into the dive.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yep, and like I said, Brian brought in 30,000 lumen lights to film Doug and I on either side of those, and just lights.
Look at me. It's like, what? What? We're here? That was my reaction of, I mean, I'm in the picture.
I think I just said to you, I told you it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. That was just me not believing that I was there.
There is no footage of me. I'm just reminding everybody. I'm a little jealous, but it's okay. I really loved filming these guys in front of me.
And look at the ceiling. It's like you forget that the ceiling is so, like, filled.
And just
with
think of the
stalactites.
time that this took to form.
Yeah.
Look at the size of those columns.
They look like statues. It's like you're in a palace, and those are statues.
Wow.
I think this is where we go through the hole in the floor. So at some point in this cave, you arrive at basically a hole in the ground. It's just, and you have to go through it, and that's when he goes, deeper. So you see that we're at 20 meters right now. We're about to go to like 30 plus once we go through the bottom.
And look how chilled Brian is. See how slow, and he gives you opportunity to look. He's such a good guide. He's been there a million times, but he's like, we're just gonna go real slow, so you can look and enjoy.
And that's the beauty of the rebreather, right? We have hours and hours.
By the way, this is where I did my cave training. Can you imagine how I felt? Dude, I trained in here. Dive 1. You're like so nervous.
Dang. Dive 1 for me was like Blue Grotto.
It was 11 days, 0 to hero, with Brian as my instructor.
Here we go. That's the hole in the floor that I was talking about.
Yeah, and these caves are multi-level. There's different levels.
Yeah. You can see the depth on the right-hand side, right, increasing because Woody's going down. And obviously here Brian is watching me, so I'm trying to be as perfect as I can, right? I'm like, I don't want to move.
Nope. He's just
Brian, stop looking at me.
He's just being careful. He's making sure. He's probably going to tell us stop. I'm going to put a jump in.
No, so this right here, he's showing us the life inside the cave. We do get this question a lot, which is what kind of life do you find in there? It's mainly translucent critters, like these tiny critters that are cave adapted.
It was really hard to film this. I tried.
Yeah, you can see it, kind of see it there. That thing is a, I don't know, translucent thingy-majigga, whatever name it is.
I think that is the name.
The official.
Look at that little thing on his finger.
Yeah.
It lives in pure darkness its whole life.
Yeah.
And those things can feel any Brian explained littlest vibration in the water. And that's how I'm smiling, reliving this, man.
Yeah, I want to go back immediately.
Of course.
I was editing this video and I'm like, what am I doing here?
I know.
We should be there.
It's amazing.
So that was a jump. We were going to do a circuit, so Brian just put that jump and we placed a cookie. So we've talked about these in the past. They're basically like cookie crumbs that will guide you back to where you came from.
Look at that.
That's why they're
beautiful,
called cookies.
Even the video of his light up in the front.
This is me telling you where I'm placing them now. I'm like, look, I'm putting my cookies on my chest now. It's easy to get. And you're like, nah, I'm good. I think you tried them and you were like, that was stupid.
I didn't like it there. I don't know. No.
Now I love them. I always have them in my chest now.
I keep them mounted on my light, and it works out.
Yeah. I was showing you. I was excited because I literally just came up with that idea during this dive. And I'm like, look at this. This is a cool place. Crystal, you're saying. I know it looks like rocks, but it's not.
Mm-mm. But don't worry, we're transitioning into another room here.
Yeah.
This is just he's taking us somewhere. Hello. Look at this room's
insane. Yeah, I wish we had like the elapsed time. Like this is 15 minutes into the dive, 30 minutes into it, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't have that, but
look at that! Look at that thing!
Massive column of crystal. Yeah.
I love my paralens. It did pretty good. You know, it's just a little thing on my head.
And by the way, we're trying to be very, very careful. I don't know if you noticed, like on the sides, or like you can see one down there. They have all of these stalagmites that are like super thin. That if you kick them, you break them. And again, some of them took 30,000 years to grow that big. When this cave was dry, by the way.
So
That's
you don't want to take 30,000 years worth of growth and destroy them in 3 seconds.
Probably not.
Look at that. Look at that.
All of those. Crystal.
So this is a place where Brian told us to get down low on the floor, I believe. I think.
No, we're vertical. This is one of the places where we're vertical.
So you see that?
Yeah.
You just chill out right there and then look.
Breaking cave particle. That's pure crystal, you're saying? Yeah. The whole wall is crystal everywhere. That's true.
Look how beautiful it is. This is dive 1 for Gus in the Crystal Caves. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was mind blowing.
I'm shining the floor because it's all crystal.
It's like a little lake thingy. All of those are like spiky crystal things. If you go too hard, I think it would hurt you. That's unbelievable. So we're about to go through that on dive 1.
Yep.
And think about how much you don't want to break anything. And Brian is explaining to me, this is how we're going to do it. And you can see that we're vertical. So, okay, so this is a good example. So if I was in a regular horizontal position, or Brian or Woody, look, there's drapery right here. This drapery right here, tens of thousands of years to be made.
Yes.
So if I was just horizontal like this, I would have kicked that thing, and then Brian would have murdered me.
Yes.
Right? So this is one of those things where you have to be vertical because there's stuff on the walls that you would kick if you're not paying attention. So again, Woody and I were like monkey see, monkey do. Like as soon as Brian went like Brian could have been like,
no questions asked.
Yeah.
If I see him or you do that,
roll into a ball, fetal position. Here we go.
Whatever you say.
Fetal position. I'm about to.
That's right.
That's how it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's placing your hand on something to hold.
No, I think on those two it was like different texture. So you're filming like, look, his feet are down, but that's because there's stuff on the wall.
Did you see where I just filmed in back of you?
Yeah.
That's why he does.
Yeah, so we just have to be very careful there. And he's telling me, like, be careful, there's stuff behind you. That's why you don't kick. And I feel pretty bad, and I decided to leave this in here because I did kick a little bit. Obviously, I paid attention. I was careful. I didn't break anything. But I should not have kicked in here. But I just, it's hard to tell your brain to stop moving completely.
You gotta be so careful right through this area.
Yeah.
Man. It's just,
Look
at that.
What we're going through.
Easy going. Low, which you're doing.
And pull.
And basically pull.
And you're not supposed to kick. And then there's a space that is pretty narrow. You're supposed to go sideways. So you'll see me go sideways, see? And what we're trying to prevent is breaking this thing right here. This is like one of Brian's priceless possessions. So if I went regular like this, I would have hit it with my tank and probably smash it. and he would just smash my head.
And don't forget that Brian is evaluating you on these first couple of dives. He has to.
Yeah.
It's not evaluating to judge. It's evaluating to
know where to take
tomorrow I want to go here,
but
you got to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And if you can't, he can't take you there.
He's watching every move.
But right. This is amazing.
So I'm going sideways. Here we go. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. Don't.
Good job. Good job. My camera, I think, probably will turn in a second because I have to obviously do the same thing.
See how close I get to it, but I didn't hit it. And then Woody's sideways right here, going through it, and he did not knock it off. Nice. And then all of these are super things, so you're supposed to go a little bit higher and stop pulling yourself.
I was just trying to film and be careful at the same time. That was me dumping air to get down.
Yeah. Very.
I was going so slow. You just really don't want to hurt anything.
Yeah. And I know the ceiling doesn't seem very busy, but there's a lot of stuff in the ceiling on this one too.
See Brian's jump markers right below. There's everywhere.
I think Brian is trying to tell you, like, come here and turn around. Come here and turn around and look at what you just went through.
But whenever Brian looks at you, I'm immediately nervous. You do realize? I'm like, I don't know what I did, but I'm not moving.
What did I do? What did I do? Look at that. We just went through that thing.
I'm so glad this video came out. That is amazing.
Yeah, look at the stuff in the ceiling. That's a little past.
That's the only corridor. Look at that. That's like perfect corridor.
So there's a funny one. I don't think we got this on video, but there's a funny one where one of those stalactites is broken. It's like laying on something, and Brian swims by you. And he's like, "What do you do?" But that thing has been broken forever. As a matter of fact, not only is broken, but more crystal landed on it and solidified it like into the ground. Like you try to pick it up and you can't. It's like into it, so you know that you didn't do it.
But even here, Gus, you've got to have good trim and buoyancy control to turn around and look and do what he's telling you. You can't be all over the place.
No.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah. I'm just looking at those at the bottom, and I'm like, I don't want to break those.
Well, you're at the same height as him. You're just following him.
Right. Those are the draperies. I mean, man, those draperies were mind-blowing.
They were. I tried to stay back because I don't want to crowd me or you guys. There's just not enough room. Man, this area is beautiful. I forgot.
Yeah. So you can see my knees are down because his knees are down.
Okay.
He said, I'm like, be careful with the draperies. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. And there I may be telling you, get down. Get down. Down. Down.
What's happening?
Drop. Oh. Good job. Okay.
So you see this right here? Looks like the map of Africa.
Yes.
This thing right here. So that is like maybe not paper thin, but it's pretty thin drapery. So it looks like a piece of paper basically hanging from the ceiling, and in some of them you can put your hand and see it through, which is pretty cool. So those for sure you don't want to touch.
I just love the way Brian points everything out. Just look at him. Such a good guide.
Yeah.
Man, that's beautiful. Now, Gus, I know it's hard for people to believe, but as beautiful as this is, do these caves get better?
Man.
Do they get more decorated?
Unbelievable.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. It's incredible.
It's amazing. I just love that every dive that we had, Brian was like, I trust you guys a little bit more and a little bit more.
Yeah.
He just kept them upping it up. I mean, some of those dives that we did were legit tight.
Oh, yeah.
covering crystal like only fits your body type.
And I want to give a shout out to Mehdi and Ed, because when we finished, I remember when I finished my DPV class with you, Ed, if you're watching this, you said, one of the ending things you said to me is, now you're ready for Brian. I was so happy when you said that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had been there, but I was a lot better this time.
Just stuff everywhere.
Everywhere.
The ceiling, the floor, just the walls. Like,
that's why I couldn't turn the camera off. It's just
a
hard.
minefield.
It's hard to know when to stop filming. Look at that. Beautiful.
All right. So we're going out, heading out from the Crystal Palace, which is where we were. Or I think we were in the forest, and now we're going to the palace.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
This is cool. I left this in here because if you notice, this rock on the right is different than all the other rocks. If you touch it, it's made of like chalk. It's like the same material as chalk. So like you run your hands on it really quick, and it's like wet chalk. Like the white stuff starts coming out. It's pretty cool.
Soft limestone, I believe. And there is areas
so white.
And there's areas though where it's very red.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about in future videos, right? I hope you.
You're like, that was awesome. I forgot how gorgeous it is, you said. So that was the first jump where we dropped our cookie a few minutes ago. So we're back with it, a whole circuit basically. We went around. Now you grab your cookie and we head to the palace.
Bleep and bleep.
Yeah, you carry them on your light. Mine are on my chest. All right. By the way, even though you haven't seen any silt, doesn't mean there's no silt in this cave.
Oh,
you can silt this place out. And actually, there's a piece, a part of it, and I'll point it out, which was the only one I found in the whole video, where I wasn't being careful and I silted a little bit. So I want you to see that there's silt on the bottom, so I left it in
with no flow. So that silt will sit there for a day or two.
Yeah. Glad that it wasn't super bad, and it was in a big part of the cave.
I really didn't watch all these, so I'm kind of getting to see them now as well with you. Oh, look at that.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like the Paralens is a good camera or whatever, but like you're there in person, and I mean, this looks like surreal.
Look, the colors in person are just incredible. I mean, the Paralens is just it captures some memories. It's not made for.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Oh, that's the glowing rock up ahead, I think. Or crystal. Pure crystal glowing. He's going to shine.
He's showing us. He's showing us that it's crystal. So you see, I'm hitting it with my light, and the whole rock lights up. Look at that thing.
And see, here's where the Paralens doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
The color is like a golden, pure glass crystal.
Yeah. There's one coming up next that is bigger. And all three of us put our lights on it at the same time. And I think that one looks good with the Paralens. At least it looks more true to what it really looks like.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just look at how the light penetrates through the crystal.
And look at that thing. The whole thing is crystal.
Oh.
And it's like this massive statue in like the middle of the room. Reminds me of that giant bear at the airport in Qatar. For any of you watching this that have been to the airport in Qatar, it's like a massive bear in the middle of the airport. Like a teddy bear. Maybe it's not there anymore. I don't know.
But I'm laughing. I just don't know where to film. Like, do I look up? Do I look down? Everything is amazing. Oh, good. That kind of shows it.
Nah, you'll see it later. I promise.
Yeah, it's getting burnt out by the primary light. It's just too much light for the paralens.
Look at the ceiling. He's just telling you, like, you haven't even looked at the ceiling. Oh, that's right. The ceiling is a disaster.
Look at that.
Explosion.
Look at that thing.
Look at that thing. I mean, just imagine when this cave was dry. It was like raining in there. I mean, every single one of these stalactites was dripping a drip of water. So, I mean, that was thousands at the same time. Just like, just so loud in there, I assume.
Oh, yeah. It was like raining waterfalls everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. All right, so this is cool. So Brian tell us all to turn the lights off because shining the air pockets on the ceiling creates this really cool visual effect. Check it out.
That's so awesome.
Come here. That's the giant crystal rock. So you come here and put your light on it, and then you come here and put your light on it. It's telling all of us to do it at the same time.
I know, but when I even see this hand motion from him, I'm already nervous. I'm just anything.
What do I do?
Look at that thing. Okay, that one came out pretty good.
Look at that.
Wow.
Orange.
Look at that. It's blue.
And that stuff is everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's what we mean by don't think that everything I'm shining on is a rock. It's probably crystal. I just said that's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, so here's where I think I silt out. So you can see that there's silt in this cave. Watch. See? All the silt? So I wasn't paying attention. I did that. So there is silt in there.
There's the video light back on. Oh, look at that column. Look at that column. Why are we sitting here right now? I mean, this place is so much better than where we are.
Let's just sell everything we own.
I mean, come on, look at it.
I mean, how long can I die if I sell everything I own? I could probably just die until I die. I don't know.
That's the exit, obviously.
We just eat that street barbecue thing.
Delicious.
Which was awesome. On the side of the road, it had mesothelioma on it. It was great. And we eat that every day and just dive. It was awesome. There you go.
Were you happy? How happy were you every day there?
Oh, my God, dude. Every day was amazing.
And that's it. We just probably didn't have much deco on this dive, I don't think.
No, we're coming up to the 20-foot mark. And
what was that dive? Do you remember? Hour and a half range, I think.
I can find out.
I think so.
Well, you wrap up the commentary here.
Yeah, I think it was about an hour and a half. Some of the dives are 60 to 70 feet max depth at the beginning. And by us keeping just for technical, by us keeping a 1.2 partial pressure, which we did throughout the dive, I doubt we had any deco on this one.
I think the total...
We stopped for safety stop at 20 feet.
The total time on this dive was 85 minutes, I believe.
Okay,
So
that's
an hour
I said about 90
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
So I doubt we had any deco on this. Because we were at like an average depth of 70 feet.
Or it was like, 3 minutes or something. It was like super, super close.
And we leave the O2 there. Those are obviously O2 bottles right at 20 feet.
Yeah. You can see 6 meters on the camera. So if we ever, if our rebreather fails, and by the way, that's why we have tanks. So notice that both of us have 2 tanks, me and Woody. We use those for bailout reasons. That's why, we mention we talked about this a lot. People ask us, well, rebreathers are so dangerous. And I always say rebreathers are actually safer than open circuit, because if your rebreather fails, you actually have open circuit with you to bail out to. So I have both systems, but rebreathers seldom fail. They don't fail.
Well, the KISS
rebreather.
How about that?
I can't speak about other ones.
I happen to be wearing, not on purpose, the same shirt that I was wearing on the briefing, and that was randomly luck.
That was awesome.
By the way, thank you. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm okay. It's fine, the Paralens. For what we were using it for, that really captured dive 1 pretty well.
Yeah. And we did several dives there. Not every dive was filmed. Not every, briefing was filmed. We really wanted to, enjoy our experience at the Crystal Caves. It was my first time there, and I was, very, very happy that all the hard work paid off. The getting on the Sidewinder, getting trained with Ed, like all the practice with Medi, like all of the work that I've been doing for 2 years to be able to go there paid off. And obviously you got certified there, so you started your journey over there. Yes. And now it was time for you to go back. But we're excited. We're going back next year already. We're already booked.
I'm going to be going back in a couple months.
That's right.
With Doug Ebersol. But I think you and I decided it's kind of an annual thing.
Yeah, we got to go every year.
It isn't that time of the year. February is the right time, because otherwise
beautiful.
You're cooking out there when you're in the briefings.
Yeah, and I wish that we could, do like a dive talk thing in the Abaco, right, in the Crystal Caves. But unfortunately, Brian only takes 2 people at a time, so we couldn't even have 3 people or 4 people or whatever. So that is. Very, very exclusive diving. Brian only wants to bring people that he can trust and that, have proven to have the skills to be able to go there. And you can see this was dive 1. This is arguably the easiest dive.
Oh, yeah.
Like anybody can do this thing. And you see that you still have to be very careful.
Oh, it escalates in difficulty from here. I'm going to call that the easiest
this was very relaxing.
by far.
Very relaxing compared with some of the stuff we did. Later
really
in the week.
Gentle. I mean, like you're just like with your hands like,
dude.
Okay, move forward. Anyway, it's incredible. And
there was one specific dive, I don't think we have that film, where the direction was you're going to stop moving and I will move you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Brian was like, whenever we get to this point in the dive, you're going to stop and you do this and he will move you. All right, keep swimming. Like it was that careful that he moved you around. You couldn't even move yourself. Unbelievable.
Got to.
It's awesome.
Got to protect these.
Love it.
Well, cool. Hope everybody enjoyed that.
So earlier I mentioned that the dive that really gave me the confidence to contact Brian and for us to go there and dive was the dive at Twin Caves. I still think that dive was, one of our most technical ones because we did DPV, we did swimming, we did full on silt out. It was a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. But in case you haven't seen that video, I'm gonna leave it right here in the middle. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you haven't seen it, there's a bunch of other dives, and I hope you enjoy this one.
Bye, everybody. It was awesome.
See you on the next one.